But what G is teaching, Bible basics, for all those who want to know, but especially those 10 and nothing. Because you need to learn. So in the last videos, we were talking about Joseph. Now Joseph became the ruler of Egypt. But then, remember, his brothers came. He said in a dream that the people were going to bow down to him, and it all came true. But why? Because there was going to be a famine, and someone needed to have food. So God made a way for his family to survive the famine. Yes. And then we seen Jacob died. After Jacob died, then Joseph died. Yes. So that was the end of Genesis. Now we're going to talk about Moses. Yes. Moses was a mighty man of God. He was a deliverer. So we're going to go from Genesis to Exodus. But first, we're going to read about the death of Joseph. Genesis 50:22. Joseph continued to live in Egypt with his father's family. He was 110 years old when he died. He lived to see Ephraim's children and grandchildren. Remember, that was his son. He also lived to receive the children of Machir, son of Manasseh, to the family. He said to his brothers, I am about to die, but God will certainly take care of you and lead you out of this land to the land he solemnly promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So remember the promised land? Yes, the promised land. That was the land. God said, I'm going to give you a land for your people. Abraham, father of many nations, we're going to give you this land. It's the promised land. Now Joseph is a child of Israel. Who was Jacob? Yes. Then Joseph asked his people to make a vow. Promise me, he said, that when God leads you to that land, you will take my body with you. So Joseph died in Egypt at the age of 110. They embalmed his body and put it in a coffin. Exodus 1. The sons of Jacob who went to Egypt with him, each with his family, were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. The total number of these people directly descended from Jacob were 70. His son Joseph was already in Egypt. When they sold him, in the course of that time, his brothers and all the rest of that generation died. But their descendants, the Israelites, had many children and became so numerous and strong that Egypt was filled with them. So we see that Jacob's family went to Egypt. Joseph was already there. But then they all died. So their children now were many in Egypt. But Joseph was not there anymore. Verse 8. Then a new king who knew nothing about Joseph came to power in Egypt. He said to his people, these Israelites are so numerous and strong, they are a threat to us. In case of war, they might join our enemies in order to fight against us and might escape from the country. We must find some way to keep them from being even more numerous. So the Egyptians put slave drivers over them to crush their spirits with hard labor. Remember? Before they said they were in the Genesis, God said the Israelites were going to be enslaved. So they were enslaved in Egypt because they were growing in number, and the king said, we can't have this. So what happened? Okay, so the king, let's see, let's go up some. So we see the slave drivers. The Israelites built the cities of Pithom and Ramses to serve as supply centers for the king. Ramesses. But the more the Egyptians oppressed the Israelites, the more they increased in number, and the further they spread from the land. Through the land. The more they punished them, the more they increased. The Egyptians came to fear the Israelites and made their lives miserable by forcing them into the cruel slavery. They made them work on their building projects and their fields, and they had pity on them. They had no pity on them. So they made them slaves. Then the king spoke to Shiphrah and Puah, the two midwives who helped the Hebrew women. He said this, when you help the Hebrew women give birth, he said to them, kill the baby. If it's a boy. But if it's a girl, let it live. So he said, kill the boys, let the girls live. But the midwives were God-fearing. So they did not obey the king. Instead, they let the boys live. Okay. So the king sent for the midwives and asked them, why are you doing this? Why are you letting the boys live? They answered, the Hebrew women are not like Egyptian women. They give birth easily, and their babies are born before either of us get there. Because the midwives were God-fearing, God was good to them and gave them families of their own. And the Israelites continued to increase and became strong. Finally, the king issued a command to all his people, take every newborn Hebrew boy and throw him into the Nile. And let all the girls live. So that's what the king said. So now we're going to see the birth of Moses. Exodus 2. During this time, a man from the tribe of Levi married a woman of his own tribe, and she bore him a son. When she saw what a fine baby he was, she could not hide him any longer. Remember, they were killing the boys, so they were trying to hide him. She took a basket made of reeds and covered it with tar to make it watertight. She put the baby in it and then placed it in the tall grass at the edge of the river. The baby's sister stood some distance away to see what would happen to him. The king's daughter came down to the river to bathe, while her servants walked along the bank. Suddenly she noticed the basket in the tall grass and sent a slave woman to get it. The princess opened it and saw a baby boy. He was crying, and she felt sorry for him. This is one of the Hebrew babies, she said. Then his sister asked her, shall I go and call a Hebrew woman to nurse the baby for you? Please do, she answered. So the girl went and brought the baby's own mother. God always has a plan. The princess told the woman, take this baby and nurse him for me, and I will pay you. So she took the baby and nursed him. Later, when the child was old enough, she took him to the king's daughter, who adopted him as her own. She said to herself, I pulled him out of the water, so I named him Moses. So what do we have here? The Pharaoh, he said, kill the boys, throw them in the water. But one of the Hebrew boys was a fine child, so they wanted to save him. So what did they do? They made a basket. They put it in the tall grass. Right? Yes. And then His sister was looking out for him, though. Then the Pharaoh's daughter came and saw the little baskets. Oh, pull the baby out. Oh, the baby's so cute. The baby's so cute. You gotta nurse the baby. So what happened? The sister got the mother. And then the sister got the mother. And then the king's daughter said, I'm going to pay you to take care of this little boy. So the mom, she got paid to take care of her own baby. Then, when the child got older, gave him back to the Pharaoh's daughter. Yes. She said, his name is going to be Moses. We pulled him out of the water. Yes, yes, yes. So, Moses, verse 11. This is Exodus 2, 11. When Moses had grew up, he went out to visit his people, the Hebrews. And see, because he was raised in the Pharaoh's house, because Pharaoh was taking care of him. Right? Right. He saw how they were forced to do hard labor. So Moses is seeing, he goes from the water to the palace. Now he's observing how they're treating his own people, the Egyptians, how they're treating the Hebrews. And he saw how they were forced to do hard labor. He even saw an Egyptian kill a Hebrew, one of Moses' own people. Moses looked around, and when he saw that no one was watching, he killed the Egyptian and hid his body in the sand. Moses was outraged about what was going on with his people. He tried to take revenge. The next day he went back and saw two Hebrew men fighting. He said to the one who was in the wrong, why are you beating up your fellow Hebrew? The man answered, who made you ruler? The man answered, who made you our ruler and judge? Are you going to kill me just as you killed the Egyptians? So they knew about what Moses did. Then Moses was afraid and said to himself, people have found out what I have done. When the king heard about what had happened, he tried to have Moses killed. But Moses fled and went to live in the land of Midian. So we see that Moses killed a man in revenge because they were treating his people bad. Then he flees because he said, they're gonna find out about me. So Moses ends up in a man named Jethro's house, the priest of Midian. Yes, then he ends up marrying one of his daughters. Let's read a little bit of that. Verse 21. So Moses decided to live there, and Jethro gave him his daughter Zipporah in marriage, who bore him a son. Moses said to himself, I am a foreigner in this land. And so I named him Gershom. Years later, the king of Egypt died, but the Israelites were still groaning under their slavery and cried out for help. Their cry went to God, who heard their groaning and remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He saw the slavery of the Israelites and was concerned for them.